Should we be focusing in on just two guys?
Well, I mean, McDavid certainly lived up to it and tied the game and sent this thing into overtime. Sidney Crosby on the one-on-one with Connor McDavid almost pulled off a one-handed shot that almost ended the game. So as much as it's tricky when you market one player versus one player, because there's a chance in hockey that, one of those players or both those players may not do anything of significance. At least last night we got glimpses of both those two players and, at some of the height of their powers, and both had, significant moments in that game, specifically in the overtime.
Do you feel Crosby, I mean, he'd never say it, and this may be part of the issue, but is there a threatening nature of McDavid to him, or is he so nonchalant now? But I mean, you felt that way with Ovechkin. Like, you felt an orneriness. We saw Sidney Crosby being ornery last week with his 10-minute actually Saturday night with his 10-minute misconduct. I'm sure that came up on the radio show. But I do look at Crosby and go 3 cups, 2 Olympic golds. Not that you want to pass the mantle to somebody else because you're so damn competitive, but like Wayne was a little like that with Mario, tried to keep him at a distance, obviously.
For sure. I think it would be folly to think that, Sidney's thinking, wow, isn't this great? Here comes the next great superstar ready to take take the torch out of my hands and lead the Oilers to the Stanley Cup and him to all my Hart trophies and all my Art Ross trophies. Like guys like Crosby just don't give that up that easily. Right, you can make the argument that Sidney Crosby is playing some of the best hockey of the past couple of years we've seen in his entire career. You look at how good he was last year in the playoffs specifically. So I think that there's something in the back of his head that says, okay, what this is another challenge from a younger player. I'm still the best player in this game, and when you look at the overall game between Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid, he's a better player. He's a better all-round player. Like, when have you ever seen Sidney Crosby cheat the game? You never do. He's what's the way Ryan Whitney describes him? He's a fourth line grinding superstar. Like, he has the work ethic of a fourth liner, and he has the skill set of the best player in the game. You couple those two things together, and you have as close to a perfect forward as we've seen in the NHL in the last 20 years. And I don't think that someone that has that skill set and has that drive also has the mental makeup just to hand that over to someone like Connor McDavid. We're not really seeing that. We thought we would when you look at the nature of and the history of injuries that Sidney Crosby has endured. We're not really seeing that significant a drop-off from Sidney Crosby. Like, we can't point at him and say, yeah, you know what, really seeing some decline in Sidney Crosby's game. Whereas normal players at his age, we'd start to see that decline and say, okay, well, we're starting to see the beginning of the end here. He can't see the clubhouse yet, but he's getting close. We're still not seeing that with Sidney Crosby. That's part of the freak that he is.